Ladies and gentlemen,
Mitchie Blaze.
One of the greatest to lace up a pair of boots. Mitchie Blaze.
Mitchie Blaze.
Mitchie Blaze.
Put your hands up for Mitchie Blaze.
Frank, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. For, just for the people who might not know, you kind of became a little bit of a celebrity here recently.
You're damn right about that. Quite a roller coaster.
Oh man. I did a tweet seeing if anyone wanted to ask some questions. We'll get into that here in a minute because I kind of echo the same questions in a way.
Sure.
But I seen yesterday, was it last night? You actually met Punk, right?
I did. I absolutely did.
Yeah. Man.
Talk about, honestly, like, been a fan for 5+ years, dude. I could never watch wrestling again. That could have been my last event ever, and that was probably one of the greatest nights of my life. Probably one of the greatest nights in wrestling, period. It's going to be hard to top. Not only for me personally, but just for the business itself. I mean, that was insane. But yeah, I did get to meet him after the show for about 5 minutes. We did a little meet and greet, talk to him. Met Tony Khan briefly. He came in there. Talk about a guy that loves wrestling. I mean, that guy, you could tell why they are going to eventually be number one. His love and passion is unmatched. It's crazy.
Man, that's like, man, who was it? Was it, I think it was Ruby? Was it Ruby? I can't remember if it was Ruby or if it was Danielson, but they did the media scrum after All Out. Mm-hmm. And one of them talked about how they got a lot of friends in AEW, and like they talk about how great it is, and they're like, it can't be that great. And then they got there, and they're like, it is every bit as great as they said it was.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's still a business, but the fact that they are doing what they love and they get paid decent. Unbelievable. I mean, I didn't get to see any of the scrums. They actually let me stand off to the side with my buddy to watch the Punk media scrum, which is pretty cool. But I read the same thing. I think it was Danielson. All of them were just saying, like, even Adam Cole was like, it was an easy decision because I can be myself and do what I love, and it was it was something else. It was just a crazy experience.
Oh man, it's a little laggy. I don't know.
Can you hear me? Can you hear what I'm saying? It's just taking some time to get through.
Yeah, it's kind of taking some time.
Okay.
But yeah, I seen the scrum, and they just talked it up big, and as fans, I mean, you know from recent events, you can feel that. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm watching it on my TV on the couch, and I can feel it.
You're right. It is, man. It's just, oh God, I don't know what I mean. They just don't, they don't screw with you. They give people what they want. They listen to the audience. They listen to the fans. And shit, nowadays with society and how people are, I mean, so damn sensitive. I mean, look at me. I'm crying on TV. I'm so sensitive. But shoot, man. I mean, you could tell they care about their people. They care about the fans.
Yeah, and they care. They listen. I was just thinking to myself, like after All Out, like my personal favorite like era in wrestling is, the Attitude Era.
Sure.
I'm more of a ECW guy from that era, but Attitude Era nonetheless. And I'm thinking to myself, is AEW topping the Attitude Era right now?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing is, they're obviously not going after, they got some good characters that kids can attach to, like, Jurassic Express. I mean, I got a 6-year-old son. We were staying at the hotel where all the guys were at after the show, and I took a picture with Jungle Boy, and my son, who's 6, lost his mind. He said, next time you go to a show, you have to take me because I want to see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And I'm like, I was like, okay, but you're right though. Like the Attitude Era, they're not looking to be PG. They're dropping bombs on, F-bombs and swearing on TV, and they're showing that they're more edgy. They're not insulting the people's intelligence. They're saying what we would say as human beings, like,
yeah.
I would use that type of language in everyday life. And it's refreshing to see that these guys are like, I'm going to say what's on my mind, and you can edit it out if you want to afterwards.
Yeah, you can edit it out. The fans, they can boo, they can cheer,
right?
Whatever.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, no, you're right though. I think, yeah, man. I mean, it's only been 2-3 years for this company, but in a couple of years from now, we could be looking at something that is bigger and better than the Attitude Era.
Way bigger. Like they're well on their way there. Definitely after last night.
Yeah.
You was
oh, go on.
You was kind of front row for that, wasn't you?
Yes, I had no idea what tickets. You mentioned ECW, so I got into contact actually with Jeff Jones, who used to manage Mike Awesome in ECW. Same thing as you. I loved ECW back then. I go to all the shows in the area. But yeah, he was the one that hooked me up with the tickets, and I think we were in the second row. I think we were sitting by like some of his family, like Punk's family. My buddy said his sister was like in front of us or something. But I mean, you could have sat me in the nosebleeds, dude. Just being in that building with the energy. Those matches were just completely on fire all night long. Oh my God. Yeah.
Man. I mean, how many? I'm not even sure, but they had like what, 4 or 5 debuts or something like that.
Yeah, I know. It was great. I didn't like. I think everyone knew. I think everyone thought Ruby Soho was coming. I think a lot of people figured Brian Danielson was coming. I didn't think Adam Cole was going to show up and how they ended that, but it was just, man, it just top one thing after another, topping and topping, and I'm like, dude, you guys just blew. It was like, it's like if this is, and they're only going to try to do better and top themselves. It's like if this is the beginning of something just crazy, just like you said, bigger than Attitude Era. It's going to be must see TV. It's something that extreme, like the Attitude Era used to be.
Oh man, I heard like half of that. I'm not
Sorry,
even
man.
gonna lie to you, bro. But yeah, I really think this is the beginning of something huge. You can feel it in the air, and
Yeah.
I think your first reaction, what got everybody all riled up.
Right.
That's the appropriate reaction. Like you could probably feel the building shaking when you was there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole shoot. I mean, that pay-per-view was the whole building was rolling the whole night. The night he returned on Rampage. You want to talk about vibrations in a building? Holy cow! I mean, this is the place that Michael Jordan played basketball at, and the people lost their minds for Michael Jordan. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan didn't get that type of ovation in that building when he returned.
I don't think so.
No.
And I kind of remembered the Jordan shit too. And
yeah,
I don't think so. Like you couldn't even hear Punk's music when he first showed up.
No, man, you couldn't. You're so right. It was, gosh, it was like unlike anything I think we'll ever see. Unbelievable.
Yeah, if we ever see anything like that again, it's our kids are going to be talking like we are now. That's how long it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got that.
That does bring me to the questions, though. I wrote a couple down. A couple people responded to that tweet. Rado, we kind of answered his question. You just asked how'd it feel and everything. Kind of covered that, but Mohammed, he wants to know what was your reaction to seeing yourself on TV for the first time?
That is a great question. I don't know how most people would react, but
Yeah.
I was completely freaked out at first. A little embarrassed because it's just, I didn't realize that many people were like talking about it because I had Facebook only and I barely do any of that to begin with, but I was definitely freaked out. That was my initial reaction, completely freaked out, screwed up, and then once one of my buddies from college that I hadn't talked to in a long time had reached out to me, and it made me remember like why I was a fan to begin with. Like why we do what we do, why we love this so much. And I said, all right, I'm gonna embrace this now. And but yeah, initial reaction, piss in my pants. Piss in my pants.
And then didn't Max Caster, he came back and he did a little freestyle mention you.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty damn cool, man. You know, because I'm like, hey, again, like I never want anything out of this. You know, like I said, just the fact that not just, you know, me and all that positive support from like people like yourself and like some of the wrestlers like Tommy Dreamer, like just being able to say like, hey, it's cool. That to me is the greatest thing that could come out of this, is to see all the positive feedback from fans, from wrestlers, saying, look at it's cool again. And that's what I said, put a tweet out there. I'm like, thank you guys for making wrestling cool again, because I mean, you remember you talked about the Attitude Era. Look how many people used to walk around with Austin 316 shirts, NWO. Why can't we have that again?
Yeah, everybody going around telling people to suck it.
Yeah. Oh man. God, yeah. Exactly. But dude, yeah, it is pretty badass. But I saw that rap that he did. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, use it, man. Just have at it.
Yeah. You know, helping them, you know, get that material out there and stuff.
Exactly.
That kind of moves me on to Shredder. Asked, what was your response, or like, how do you feel about you know, like the people who are like you seen, I did a tweet damn near going off on somebody over it.
Oh yeah.
But basically, you know, like the people who's trying to clown the situation.
I feel bad for them, to be honest with you. You know, like I don't, you know, obviously they don't have real emotion in their lives. They don't have something maybe that they care about that much in their lives. You know, I'm married, I got 2 kids, got a normal life. You know, I love wrestling, I love sports. You know, I have hobbies and passions, and but I truly just feel bad for those people that have the need to, I hate to say bully, but need that type of bullying persona. It's just sad that maybe they don't care about something in their life that much.
Yeah, I agree. I think see, now I feel like maybe I just have a good group of mutuals and everything on Twitter, but typically I have to damn near search to find the trolls and all the negative talk and stuff. But I come across it every once in a while. And, you know, someone clowning someone for, you know, for after 7 years, of no Punk, you know, falling out of love with wrestling. It's like, us fans, it's like, you do love us, you know? And we love you too.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. But you're right though about the having to search for the negative. It's not much out there, and you know, maybe if I had a Twitter account and made a big deal out of it, like right after it happened, I would have seen some of it more. But yeah, you're right. It's only a few people, and they want to get their name out. And like I said, don't care if I get anything special out of this. I just want to be a fan, man, and I'm glad this helps all of us as fans to feel empowered and confident to wear our emotions on our sleeves and say, "Hey, we love this." So
Yeah.
let's keep the momentum going, dude, and make it happen.
Bro, it's like we seen you in the audience that night, and ever since then, it's like a damn love fest. It's so cool to see, because
It is. It's
you know,
amazing.
like you mentioned earlier with society and stuff like that, it's toxic.
It is. It is, and everyone can have a voice now because all they gotta do is type a couple characters in and hit send,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And it could be whatever they want it to be.
exactly.
Let's see here. Everybody was pretty much just thanking you also. That's cool. Oh, here we go. Wesley Reynolds. He says, how much has your life changed since then?
Honestly, I mean, not a ton. But I bring it back to what we were talking about it's cool to be a fan again and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing it really did for me was it brought me back closer with some friends that I had lost touch with over the last 15, 20 years. I mentioned a college buddy. Him and I were best friends in college for a few years. And we would skip school and go to Raw in St. Louis. We'd go to SmackDown in Iowa. We'd go to pay-per-views in Milwaukee, Chicago. I mean, we did everything. We were wrestling fans, right in the Attitude Era. And ECW was around. We went to ECW pay-per-views in Milwaukee and in Chicago. And we lost touch after college. And I never really understood why, but like you go your separate ways. But dude, after he text messaged me that next day after the show, and he's like, I know we haven't talked in a while and blah, blah, blah. And we started going back and forth on text. He kind of encouraged me. And, a week ago, I said, hey, it looks like I'm getting tickets to the show. You want to come? And I was unsure if he would want to do it because we hadn't seen each other in so long. And he's like, hell yeah, I'd love to come. Let me see if I can make it. And next thing you know, it was like the reunion 20 years in the making, bro. It was,
Hell yeah.
he gets out at the hotel. I see him. It's like, it was like a day didn't pass. So to me, that was like the best thing that came out of this. Reconnecting with some friends that I should have never lost touch with, and making friends across the wrestling fan base like yourself, and just seeing like the love and support. Now my wife can't tell me wrestling's for sissies anymore and stupid because I'm like, well, see, what are you gonna do now, girl?
Hell yeah. That brings up that's it for the Twitter questions, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
But it brings up a question that came up in my mind personally as he was answering. Because you had mentioned you was even going to ECW pay-per-views and stuff. So, I know you've probably seen your share of special moments in person. So, I'm really curious personally. What was like the biggest moment you witnessed in person before the Punk debut?
Oh God, that's a good one. I saw the NWO reform at No Way Out in like 2002 in Milwaukee. Hogan and Rock, I saw the very next night at the Allstate Arena on Raw when they set up their WrestleMania match. That was insane. I went to a doubleheader CZW ROH show at the ECW Arena in Philly and watched like 8 hours of wrestling. Just crazy. But I would say number one moment before these past couple weeks, probably the Chris Jericho. Same friend that was with me last night. Him and I left college, skipped school that day, drove up to Rosemont to the Allstate Arena when he made his like Raw debut. I mean, you want to talk about just intense. That was like the first real major guy, I think, after Big Show that came to WWE, and he was the guy that was being held down in WCW, and we all knew like this guy is the real deal. And that debut, man, that has to be number one up until probably the Punk return.
Man, that's crazy.
Spent a lot of money and drove a lot of miles for wrestling, that's for sure.
Man, that's so cool, man.
Are you?
What?
Where are you at?
I'm in Ohio, actually. I'm pretty close to Indiana.
Okay, gotcha. Say, so you get some good wrestling out there.
Yeah, we get some good wrestling. A lot of talented people kind of come out of here, come out of the state. I think a lot of wrestling's heyday was the 90s and everything.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s, I watched ECW, but I was too young to actually like go to the events, or my parents felt I was too young. Rightfully so, probably.
Oh yeah. Definitely. My buddy and I got bled on by was it Steve Carino and it was just a show, it was no like pay-per-view or anything, but we were up front at one of the shows, and I mean him and I think it was Jerry Lynn or somebody, they were fighting through the crowd, and Carino's just stuck pig. But yeah, I mean, I was 21, 22, that was okay, but my parents, if I was younger, my parents knew I was going to something like that. Oh my God.
Man. And Carino could get collar.
Dude, that guy, he bleached that hair blonde.
Yeah.
He knew that was gonna look good.
And it did.
Oh God, yeah, that guy he was something else, man. He was something else. But yeah, that guy could bleed with the best of them.
Definitely. Very, very underrated?
I think so. That guy, he went and did work in Japan. He worked at Ring of Honor for a little bit. He had a great feud, I think, was with Homicide over there. That guy, that guy never got his due, but very underrated.
What's his name? His son. I'm kind of hoping to see his son, like AEW or something.
I know he's been wrestling for the last couple of years, and I think he's in, was it that MLW? He's in something.
Oh yeah, it might be MLW.
Yeah, maybe he's just. I think I like that about some of these guys that they got their kids in it. They want to take it slow. They don't want to blow their load too quickly. And if the guy's got talent, maybe they'll put him on a dark match or something and give him a chance, like they did with Pillman.
I was just about to say the same thing, just like Pillman.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's every like almost every match I see of his, he gets better at like everything, like not just moves, but like facial expressions and just charisma wise, everything.
Yeah, and he is a big boy. We saw him there's about 20, 30 of the wrestlers after the show last night. They went to the hotel bar. They were eating, having a drink, just hanging out, and Pillman was there, and that boy is big. I mean, that kid is swole, and I was just like, holy shit. This guy is just getting bigger and bigger. But yeah, that roster is so deep, it's ridiculous.
It is, and what's really cool about it, in my opinion, is the fact that they have so many they have so many people who are already established. You already know they're main eventers or could be main eventers. And then they have the young guys too, and they have them all mixing, like the Hardy family. What are they called?
Hardy was a HFO. Hardy Family Office.
Yes, the Hardy Family Office.
Yeah.
And
right.
That's a group, and not all of them are young. Like TH2, they've been around for a while.
Right. Exactly. And then you look at guys like Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin. You got MJF. These guys are in their early mid-20s. Ricky Starks, man. I mean, that's another guy. That boy. I mean, he didn't have to say a word. He just charisma. I mean, Darby is in some high-profile stuff, but.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You was kind of glitching.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. I was just saying, they got so many young guys that, like you said, they're mixed in with the bigger established guys, but their day is going to come, and it may not be in 6 months or a year from now. It might be in 5 years, 10 years from now, but they just stacked.
And I don't think a lot of people don't have the patience to sit back and watch it happen, because some of the negative stuff I see.
Sure.
All AEW's just bringing over WWE talent, and they are bringing over WWE talent, but they're creating their own stars too. Like you said, Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is huge. He's definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And Jericho helped put him over too.
Exactly. You're right. I mean, that's the thing is it's like they're bringing these guys over, but it's just to help them and give them the rub.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? I mean, these guys have experience on TV for 20 some years. Who knows what they're working behind the scenes on? Just the little nuances, and they're building a foundation. Where some of these guys will, when they're retired and done, they'll move into the back office and be agents or help out with other stuff. I mean, this is no flash in the pan short term thing. This is they're in it for the long haul, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and they really got a good eye for detail, also.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. It's funny that you mentioned the eye for detail because that's one of the things like in my regular normal life. One of the things I do is like I was an auditor. I did internal audits for companies, and you always want to make sure you cross all your T's, dot your I's, don't leave out any details. I always wondered that with WWE. Like they start something up and then they stop it, and they start something, they stop it, or they forget this happened. And I'm like, dude, can't you just hire like one person? That was always one of my dream jobs. I'm like, can you just tell me? I'll keep track of all the stuff you did, so you don't screw it up in a couple weeks. But they don't seem to care over there. But here, man, they'll AEW. Something will happen, and a year later they'll use it again. So. I don't know if it's Tony Khan. I mean, that guy's a genius, dude. He is a mad genius. Vince is in big trouble.
He's probably behind a lot of this too. Like, just with helping with people's characters and stuff. Because I remember before AEW, like right around the time it was becoming a thing, people was asking like who is Tony Khan? Does this dude even know wrestling? And
Right.
he's like Rain Man. He can rattle off anything to you.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh God, that's so. Yeah, it's true. The guy is something else, man. I did that little meet and greet, and he walked up, and he's kind of like shy. Tony Khan's shy. He's got the wild hair. He's got the crazy goofy jacket on. He walked up and he's like, "Thank you for coming," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "No, thank you for all you did. Appreciate it." And then he's kind of shy, but he like ran up. He hugged Punk, like gave him a big hug, and he was so happy because he knew like last night was like the start of even more crazy. He just like raises his hands up in the air and he's like, "Rah!" And he's like running down the tunnel, like to do probably some other media scrum. I'm like, oh my God, this guy, he's just like, but again, he's just like us, man. Like, he was sitting in there, and that was one of the things. I was that kid sitting in the crowd, crying when my favorite came out or whatever it was. Tony Khan's the same way, man. It's just like they just love it so much. And so it was pretty cool to see that. And just going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's like they're all friends, they're all family, but they're all fans.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And I think that's excuse me. I think that's kind of where the connection with the fans come from too, because it's like a company full of fans first, almost.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right. I mean, these were guys that were all. I mean, they didn't get into it because it was a paycheck.
I haven't seen Tony Khan's live reaction to Punk's debut, but I'm guessing it was a lot like ours.
Probably, yeah. You're right, man. I mean, it had to be. Just the guy just cares about like making wrestling in his vision, and his vision is like all of our visions. Like we're fans. We want good wrestling. We don't want our intelligence to be insulted. But you know, we want to sit back and enjoy the show. And my God,
Exactly.
certainly did that last night.
Yeah. Speaking of last night, I get like, what was your match of the night?
I think match of the year was the cage match last night. That match, I tried to get a match of the year chant started, but my voice was cooked by then. That match, I mean, that had to be. It was easily the match of the night. It's got to be like top 5 match of the year, if not the match of the year. But so many insane spots. The thumbtacks and the shoe were just genius. But there's no touching what they did. I didn't think the Lucha Brothers were going to win, because I thought they were going to build some other team up eventually to take it. But that was, after that match, I had no problem with them winning. And oh my God, from the entrance to the end, easily the best match I've seen in a long
time. But yeah, you know, everything about it, the entrance, the match, like you said, that's match of the year right there.
Oh yeah.
All those spots. Ray Phoenix kicking up off the cage into the Hurricanrana. Oh, and then that cross body from the top of the cage. I swear he was in the air for so long.
The things that guy does are just unworldly. It just blows my mind. I don't know if you watched Lucha Underground, but like him and Pentagon and Lucha Underground, I mean,
that's where I became fans.
Me too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what a lot of us did. But it was like when they brought them over here, you know, they couldn't do the, you know, spooky, the paranormal shit that they would do on Lucha Underground, people dying and everything. But they just let these guys go and do their thing. And oh man, I was so happy after the match was over. I was like, I have not seen something like that ever. It's like you said, I want that instant gratification, but shit, I mean, if you sit back and just enjoy the ride, man.
Definitely. Yeah, that's what All Out was too last night. The whole from top to bottom.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I actually, it's funny because you're naming you're talking about some of the spots, and it's I said to myself when you were saying that, I go, I gotta actually now order the pay-per-view so I can watch it like from the TV experience, because you're there and there's so much going on that, you know, you might miss something here or there, but I'm like, I actually need to go back now and watch the actual broadcast of it too, because I was reading today about like how the commentators, like Tony Schiavone was saying something about like, I love pro wrestling or something. You know, I was just reading stuff. I'm like, I would love to see how their reactions were during some of these matches, and hearing like the crowd from the broadcast perspective. So I'm like, gonna have to spend another night up late watching it.
I was pretty much done by the time the main event came, so I went back, rewatched the 2 more debuts.
Yeah, it was man, I mean, well, you know, you're at home, you can you know, you gotta get up and get a drink or go to the can or something, you can do that and pause it or whatever. But I probably missed a few spots, you know, just heading off to the restroom or getting a beer or something. And but It's like one of those events where you almost want to like buy it or like get it on DVD or Blu-ray someday or whatever they sell it nowadays, and just like keep it. And like
Yeah.
that's an event where you put it in a box, and when someone says, "Hey," and you tell them, "Oh, I watch wrestling." They're like, "Oh, WWE? No, AEW. Well, what's that?" Here you go. Here you go, bro. I'll see you in 3 hours.
Be careful with that shit too.
Exactly. Oh man.
Break that disc, I'm gonna break your ass.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like when you buy that I don't know if they still sell them, but was it the Playboys, when you have the Tori Wilson edition, you gotta buy 2 copies, one to keep for your kids, and then the other one where you're like, if you're gonna ruin this one, take this copy.
Man, that's definitely one of those though. Do they sell those on Blu-ray or DVD?
I don't know. I think they sell. I'm pretty sure they sell some of their events on DVD. But like nowadays, maybe you can just get like a digital copy somewhere and just stream it, whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure. But it's definitely one that I want to find and just keep.
See, because my thing is, I don't know if I trust technology enough with that shit.
No, I know, man. That's why I do a lot of the streaming of like the Roku, and I got all the YouTube TV, Netflix, all that shit, and I'm like, if I buy a movie or something, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be saved, so I can go back and watch it again. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. It's like it'll just disappear into thin air, and then you're fucked. So
yeah. Gotta have a physical copy.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely.
So speaking of DVDs and stuff like that, are you a big movie guy?
I haven't been as much lately, but I used to be really into like certain types of movies, like Tarantino movies, just anything that looked good, But I mean, I'd like to say I am, but I haven't watched a lot in the last couple of years. It's hard to get a babysitter.
Yeah. Well, movies these days, they're not what they used to be either.
No.
Not the new ones. And I'm a big horror guy.
Okay.
So
nice.
Everything CGI these days.
Yeah.
That's not the way to go.
Dude, when you talk about horror, like when I was younger and growing up, like Freddy Krueger, man, and like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, like those were more kind of campy horror movies. They had some humor in them, but those were real. Like Freddy Krueger, man, the guy had a personality on him. The guy had the greatest one-liners, but yeah, nowadays I wouldn't.
So one of the things that was so scary about him was, he's coming to your dreams. Like those dreams, that's the one thing you got.
Right, and once you fall asleep, it's over.
Yeah, that was kind of based on a true story in a way.
No, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No idea.
Let me see. I want to say it was Indonesia, but I might be wrong. It happened in a foreign country.
Okay.
It was a kid basically refusing to go to sleep and saying that there's shit after him and shit.
Oh God.
And he, one day he finally couldn't stay awake no more, fell asleep, and actually died in his sleep. And when the parents found him, they also found like coffee makers and coffee pots and all kinds of medicine stashed away in his closet, trying to keep him awake. Yeah, all kinds of shit.
Holy hell. I did not know that. Oh, I was asking what you got. What you got there? What's your medicine of choice?
Oh, what I'm drinking here?
Yeah.
E&J.
Ah, okay.
Old school.
Nice.
Old school and cheap.
Exactly. Nice.
But yeah, Freddie was crazy.
Yeah.
And the like little sweater he on and everything. I guess who was it? Wes Craven. I think Wes Craven was a kid when he was a little kid. There was a homeless dude in his neighborhood that always scared the shit out of him. And this homeless dude wore a sweater all the time, just the same as Freddie's.
I think I heard that before. Yeah, talk about a guy that's pretty troubled, Wes Craven. Holy cow!
To get all of that, all of those sequels and everything out of that one little story about that kid dying.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's like that's a dream come true right there.
I think we worked through about all the questions. Everything I had personally I wanted to ask. I wanted to thank you personally because, going back to, what we talked about earlier, and my own tweet too, I did when we did the confirmation for this. You mirrored a lot of us that night. And ever since then, man, maybe it's just me, but I feel like ever since then, there's been more love, more positivity in the wrestling community as a whole now. And it's so good to see, man. And it's so good to meet you too.
And you too, man. I mean, I mean, just the fact that I think, like you said, there's a lot of love and positivity in this community. That's priceless, right there.
Definitely,
it's so priceless, and being able to like meet, people like you and some of the other fans that are on Twitter that I still don't half know how the hell to use it. Like you, like, who care and give a shit. Like, I could do this all day long, and as long as we get the word out there, like, hey, this is cool again. No one was talking shit back when Austin 316 was coming out. Social media wasn't that big back then, but it's the what is it? The silent or the loud minority that are gonna hate on people and say it's stupid. But I'm just glad that we can all work together and show the love and get the word out there. I mean, and just keep it going.
It's not just good for wrestling, but it's good for ourselves too.
Agreed. Definitely. You're right. Wrestling, it could be anything. And to see people that care about something come together and say, "Hey, that's not right. Let's show the positive of it." Um, that'll change society for the better.
Yeah, and it needs it. It needs it right now.
You got that right, man. You got that right.
Thank you for coming on the smoking section. One more time, will you give people your hat if they want to follow you?
Sure. Yeah, it is FMINCX. So FM Inc. X at Twitter. That's pretty much it. No, and thank you for it. It was a blast just shooting the breeze with you.
Man, the pleasure has been all over here.
Thank you.
Trust me.
Thank you.
And, all right, and I'll see you back on Twitter sometime.
I'll see you too. Keep in touch,
All right.
man.
All right, I will.
Take care.
Thank you for coming.